Okay, everyone, welcome back. I know it's been a minute and I apologize for that. Honestly, this is just a crazy time for me and it's been a crazy finals week, and it's not over yet, but that's okay. We're gonna just film this anyway. I put this video in a little bit quicker speed just because I think otherwise the video is going to be too long and slightly boring. So yeah, it is sped up a little bit. So yeah, I'm doing my March setup. So this is my cover page for March. I just decided to do cover pages this year just because I figured that it would be a nice way to kind of separate the monotony of the notes pages in the back, and it's just a little fun thing that I can or can't do if I'm feeling like it. But this year I definitely was, or this month I should say, I definitely was. I think I'll probably try to continue with it throughout the whole year just so that I have some consistency, but it's not the end of the world if I don't do it one month. The cute backing paper I'm using, the white paper is textured. The texture is not really super apparent on the camera, but it's like a textured paper, and I got it actually in Tanzania, and it's like recycled material, so that's cool. And then the beige paper I got from Muji. It's actually a post-it note, but I just always use it as like backing paper. Yeah, I use that Muji paper a lot. So yeah, and then I used like a little girl from La Dolce Vita, and I just have like a bunch of random cutout girls from the 2 girl rolls that I have, because I will go home and I'm just always moving around a lot, and so if I have like some of the Pion tapes that I have, or the PET tapes I have pre-cut, that makes it so much easier for me to just grab like a small pouch of stationery that I know I use a lot, decor that I know I use a lot, and just go for like when I'm going on break, spring break, or like winter break, so that I have decorations, but I don't have to bring the whole roll. So I just have like a little pouch that has a lot of like pre-cut things in it, or not even pre-cut, but just like, yeah, pre-cut, but like roughly, like they're not super well cut out, they're just like, yeah, even in this I had to recut that little girl because it was too rough. So yeah, and oh yeah, this was a failure. This is like my first time using this backing texture paper on Tomography paper. So originally I tried to use the it's like one of those dot liner, glue liner stick things, tape runner. I don't really know what the word for it is, to be honest, but yeah, that pink thing is one of those. And then that wasn't working because the paper itself was sticking to the little runner thing, and so then I had to end up gluing it, which I don't like to use glue in my Hobonichi Weeks, or on any Tomo River paper for that matter, because I just think it makes it a bit uneven on the back. But I gave in for this time, and yeah, it did make it a little wrinkly, but I think that's okay. I'm still super happy with the way it turned out, so I thought in the end it was a worthwhile sacrifice. From Pinky Elephant, I got this Pion washi tape cutout tape. So that was one of my most recent purchases. I've been in a bit of a like, oh my god, I'm trying to stop myself from buying stationery era, because I've really been buying quite a bit of stationery, and that has not been good for my college student bank account, to say the least. You can see the wrinkle right there. And my only real hack for that is just immediately after gluing something to put it on a solid, straight board kind of thing, like a pencil board is what I used, so that the paper kind of reforms the shape that it was prior. I don't know if I explained that well, but yeah, and there is a little bit of wrinkle, but that's okay with me. This is another one of those things that I got recently in a Pinky Elephant. Pinky Elephant was doing this like supporting LA wildfire relief, and I have relatives in LA, so I was like, oh, like that's fun, I'll do that. And I did like a blind box from them, and I will say, like, they gave me a bang for my buck. Like, they gave me really good value, and I am actually using the stuff that they gave me, which is so cool. This sticker sheet they gave me, so I'm not sure the brand, but they gave it to me in my little blind box. Okay, so the next part of my setup for my month is my 2-page trackers, monthly trackers. I have had a sorted relationship with monthly trackers in the past. Like, sometimes I just have not stuck with them, sometimes I have. The thing is, because I'm doing so much other stuff in the back of my weeks at this point, I do think I've been able to like, I flip through the back of my pages a lot more often this year, because I'm already there to look for like a new daily spread or what have you. Whereas like in the past, I think I've not really been as active in my notes pages, and they were just for like the occasional time I needed to write down like a collection idea, or like if I had something to add to my wish list, but I wasn't there every day. Whereas this time I'm there every day, and so I think that helps me be more consistent. I also will say, I think checking trackers and like doing trackers has been a habit that I've built up, like, alongside the habits I've been tracking, which is kind of interesting. So if you guys are bad at tracking habits, I would say try to stick with it as best you can, and just like don't get discouraged. I mean, hell, even in this notebook, I have trackers that I've just quit or like haven't filled out, and that's just kind of par for the course. And yeah, and like this notebook is, at least for me, my journals and planner system, it's for me. It's not for anyone else. It just is like works for me, and that's all that matters. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because like I have really messy handwriting. I've been told this my whole life, that I have messy handwriting. And so it's interesting to kind of do this as a hobby, because I do think my handwriting is slightly neater in these notebooks, but I'll see people and their handwriting is like so neat and tidy, and it looks like they've like printed it and typed it. Like, it is ridiculous, but my handwriting is real, you know? And yeah, I also at first did use Randy.plan's date stickers for my monthly trackers, but eventually I just was like, I can write the numbers in, this is not the biggest deal, the end of the world, etc. I will say, like, the thought of having to do stuff like taxes, well, I do have my taxes already, but, like, the thought of having to do stuff like change the oil on my car and, like, keep track of, like, when I last, like, cleaned my, like, air filter in my fridge or, like, whatever, all those adult tasks are really starting to stress me out, and I don't even have to do them yet, so I'm a little bit like, oh my god, I'm starting to become an adult. And I can even see that just in, like, oh my gosh, my sheets, when did I last do that? But I will say, like, the things I track change on a month-to-month basis depending on, like, what I'm focusing on. And yeah, and sometimes I will say I kind of like when I do my mood tracking in my weekly section, but it's kind of for a aesthetics reason as opposed to, like, a purpose reason. I like when I do it on the weekly page just because I think it breaks up the monotony of, like, the to-do list portion of my weekly section pages. However, I wanted this month especially to kind of see the overview of my moods and see from, like, a bird's eye view how my mood fared throughout the month, because I will tell you, February was not so good of a month for me. There were a lot of lows. It was an overall bad month. But hopefully March will be a better month overall. And that's why I want to track. And I think it will be, because there's a lot of fun, exciting things coming up in my life. And yeah. Oh, another thing to mention quickly is I did rewrite some of the dates a few times, or I rewrote the dates a few times. First of all, because the mood stickers or the mood tracking ends up being the dates have to go on the line so that you can get points, versus the dates are in between the lines so that you can check mark certain things. And I also just find that, like, when I have the dates closer to me, then it's easier for me to, like, say, oh, this is the 20th, and then go down the line. Whereas if it's all the way at the top of the page and the thing I'm tracking is all the way at the bottom of the page, it's hard for me to see what date corresponds to what box. And even just that low barrier to entry to doing it, like, prohibits me from doing it if I have little time. And then the next thing I'm doing is setting up my daily to-do list for the day. I just thought I would include this, even though it's not typically a monthly thing. But but this month I waited to set up my daily, even though I was, like, itching, because I wanted to see how many pages I was going to use for my monthly setup. So another thing that I'll sometimes do is after a certain page of dailies has been filled up, I will go back and I'll look and see what important things happened on that day, or like how I was feeling on a certain day, and pull those out and write them, and then add like a sticker that corresponds to that. I do this just because I feel like otherwise the spreads would look a bit empty on one half of the page, first of all. Second of all, I like to be able to see like, oh, this is the day that this happened, or like this important thing happened then, and it's just kind of a nice little way to make these extremely boring to-do list pages more functional. I will say, like, I don't think I necessarily need to have the to-do list in the back, but I did find that when I was having it last year in a separate book, I would only bring my Hobonichi Weeks, and then I'd be like, well, I need my to-do list for the day on me, and I want one book of all that information, so that's why I tend to do it in this one book. But yeah, and then also just, it's fun decorating these little spreads. It's just a little fun thing that gives me another opportunity to play around with my stickers, which I love. And I'm not a sticker hoarder. I think stickers have, you know, they're meant to be used. I love when I can go through stickers, and yeah, but that I know is just me. And if I had more artistic abilities drawing wise, I probably would be drawing more of my decorations, but alas, I've not been blessed with that gift, unfortunately. This is going back into my February dailies, because obviously I'm setting up my March spreads, and my February dailies, I was sick for so much of March, or February. I was sick for so much of February. It was like not fun, but we've muscled through it. So I pulled out some of my little sick Swatelier little mini icon stickers. And I have 2 sticker books that I use, and that's really where I keep, like, I would say probably 80% of my stickers. Maybe less than that now, because I've stopped immediately adding the sticker sheets to those books, but I used to just, like, immediately add the sticker sheets into those books. That's where I keep a lot of my stickers. One of them is a tiny little sticker book that is the Traveler's Notebook Passport, and that is where I keep like my favorites, my best stickers, my MVPs, because I just find, again, it's a similar reason to like having the cutout girls. It's just easy to take with me on the go if I need. And yeah, I have, by the way, a recommendation. I've had 2 of these passport sticker books now, and one of them I was a regular size and one of them was a passport size. I would recommend the passport size so much more because it's so easy to find a cover for it, and that way the book itself doesn't get super damaged. Like I found with my other one that the little book itself was just paper right on the outside, and so it was just super beaten up and not cute and not good anymore, and the pages would get wrinkled, etc. And I think like with this you can put a passport cover protector on it and it works really well. I got my passport cover protector from Amazon. Now I'm going in and just updating my weekly pages. This week I had, as you can see, a lot going on. I find like once a week too. I really like the weekly sections because it gives me a chance each week to stop and say, look, I need to do this stuff. I know this is coming up. It gives me a chance to like stop and take stock almost of my week and overview and just like breathe for a second and be like, this is what's happening this week, and this is everything in my life that I have to update. It's like a 1 time a week ritual of making sure my week and life is up to date, if that makes sense. Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in. I know this was a long one and I did so much. I just honestly caught up on a lot of stuff in my planner, and I hope that this kind of helped you see how I use my system on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, and even slightly on a day-to-day basis, just in my routine and my layout. And yeah,